So I just want to share something real quick. Um, so you see this word here, or this phrase, grammar school. So I just want to share something. So you see this phrase here, grammar school. Okay, um, and this is what I want to share here is in reference to learning English and the importance of it, and some aspects on what English actually is. Okay, um, so we should know. You should know that the English alphabet, right? It's really the Latin alphabet. So when you look, so you go look up the Latin alphabet, right? You'll see that it's you know um, um, that's what the English language is written in. So you see all these letters here, right? These letters, right? These are Latin letters. Okay, this is all Latin. Well, what we are calling English words, they are actually Latin letters. It's all Latin letters. Okay, the English, so these are not English alphabets. These are Latin. Okay, so and this is important because um, you need to know who your enemy is. Because if you saying that English is a bastard language, or English is not our language, and you know if you just stating how wrong and how bad English is, you need to know why you're saying that. You need not just to state that, but you need to be able to explain why you're saying those things. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that language is actually just sounds. So if that be the case, then we cannot say any sounds are good or bad. It's just how we are using them. Okay, um, and again, that makes English our language. Okay, as well. Every spoken word, every sound, every vibration. Okay, it is ours. Don't fix your brain into thinking. See, when you see a word, any word or any letter, that is just sound being solidified or sound being frozen. Okay, these are just frozen. These are just fixed sound. That what we do. They took the sound or the idea, right, of things, and they froze it. So words are just frozen history. I'm saying, but we know words, sound are supposed to be moving. So if you see a frozen word, then that word is it the its true meaning is fragmented. Okay, this is why we call it a definition. A definition is a fragment of the truth, the fragment of the whole, because words, sound, vibration is a living thing. It's a living thought. They're thoughts. See, they're so if it's frozen, then you can only pick up a fraction or pieces of what it really is. See, so understand we're not really dealing with. Don't focus on words like this, because what's really going on here, it's sound. The The living, it's living. Words are living. So sound, vibration. This takes us again back into electromagnetism. Okay, so understand that. English is just on a different spectrum. It's on a different frequency. Okay, but it all comes out of us. So I'm saying that. So let me say this. Here's my point. So you notice how when kids go to school and like our kids, the indigenous Native American, Aboriginal kids, so-called black kids, the deal. Um, the reason why they fail the SATs is because they were not taught Latin. Okay, so remember now, remember now we dealing with the pink man system here, right? So his system, for you to master his system, right? For you to, and when I say master, I'm talking about for you to be able to control his system or to pull yourself up out of it. You know what I'm saying? You have to know Latin because his whole system is based on it. His whole language, his whole culture, the way that he thinks, right? It's based in Latin. You know what I'm saying? So if you can outthink him, meaning if you can see him coming, you can deal with him because you can say, well, let me see, do I want to sidestep him, right? Or do I want to develop a strategy to deal with him straight on? See, you're in control. Because once you know the nature of a thing, you now have the power to control that thing. So you know the pink man's nature through his language. So notice here. Look, check this out. Let's see. So they tell you. So they tell you right there. Um, in England, see, England, right? Right? Historically, a school where Latin was taught. See, in England, right? Historically, right? Um, grammar, right, was a school where Latin was taught. See, in England, same thing here. This is England. These are people from England. These people that call themselves, Americans, right? You know how they had their little civil war, talking about the British are coming and they fight against the British. No, they are British. You know what I'm saying? It was British upon British. These people, this is all these so-called pink people here in America, or some of you want to call white. They are Brits. The majority of them are Brits, British. All those so-called founding fathers, they're British. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they built their United States government on that language. Look around, everything. You can't be no proper so-called lawyer if you don't know Latin. All their textbooks is in Latin. You can't be no doctor if you're not fluent in Latin. If you don't all those medical terms are Latin. You know. Now, see, now you got to get around the fools that say stuff like, "Oh, well, it's Greek too. It's Greek too." Now, this how you deal with that. Understand? You go do history work into um, Spain. That European area over there, right? And you notice that in different regions, these same people, some of them spoke Latin and some of them spoke Greek. Greek and Latin are related to one another over there in Italy, whatever that Spanish area. You know, I forget. I think in the south or north, whatever. I forget which regions, the different regions. But in that same place, um, certain regions they spoke Latin, and the other regions they spoke Greek. Okay, Latin and Greek are related to one another. Okay, so that's so know that. And mainly when we speaking about Latin, the people that were speaking, we're talking about the Italians. The Italians were the Latin speaking people that were dominant. This is what we call them the Romans. Rome. People in Rome, they spoke Latin. Okay, Romans. The Romance languages. See, the Romance. So if you know the Romance languages with an S, then you know that there are different languages in the Romance languages. But you know also that you see Latin. You know what I'm saying? So let me see how many different languages are in the Romance languages. But you understand Latin. You know, okay. So here. So like I said, to control your enemy, right? To defeat your enemy, you have to know the nature of your enemy. So um, you got to know the language of the enemy. Okay, so you see here where it says uh, um, again, right? The grammar school. What is grammar school? Right, grammar school was taught in England, right? But here too in the Americas. This is matter of fact, I think the first school that was established was the first school that was established in the Americas, mind you, right, by the Europeans, the pink people, because we always had schools here. We always had schools in the Americas, but the first school that was established here in the Americas by the pink skinned people was Boston. Was in Boston. I think it was called Boston Latin. See, Boston Latin. And I'm not sure, but go research that. But yeah, the first school that they established here in the Americas was Boston Latin. Okay, but understand, Latin is all about the Latin. Okay, but anyway, so historically, right, a grammar school, right, were where Latin was taught. Okay, and then understand this. See, and they're telling you why. Why was Latin taught? Right? For the purpose of, you know, preparing, right, the children for college. Preparing pupils, right? Children, people, whoever, for college. So this is the purpose of grammar school, right? In grammar school, right, you learn Latin. Why? For the purpose of being able to even enter into college. You cannot enter. I mean, you have to know Latin to enter into college. You have to know or understand Latin. You have to have some type of Latin background in you. Okay, so again, I'm not promoting, you know, go to the pink man's educational establishments or whatever. I'm just saying that, you know, to master and to know what he's doing and what he's about, you have to know his language. Okay? And remember now, English is not a language. Okay? English is not a language. No form of English. If it be Old English, Middle English, Modern English, American English, right? None of these are languages. They are dialects. Because remember, to be to be a language or to form a language, you have to have an original alphabet. Okay, you cannot be using no one else's alphabet. Okay, so if you're going to be original language, you can't be using Latin's alphabet. Okay, you're gonna have to create your own alphabet. That's what makes a language. So this is how you know. This is how you know English is a dialect. It is not a language. Okay, so anyway, so I just wanted to share this. Okay, so again, see, knowing words is knowing history. So this whole thing is another part of knowing etymology or using etymology. Because remember now, etymology is the study and the study of the history of words. Okay, how they were formed, how they were altered. Okay, and the different languages, how different languages combined to form different words, and the culture. Okay, so again, like I said, like I always say, this is our true history, language and culture.